Hey there, welcome back. It's so good to have you here, nestled in the quiet of your room, the day finally softening behind you. Imagine for a moment the stillness of a Roman evening long ago, the hush of stone streets, the flicker of oil lamps, secrets whispered through time in the language of ruins. You're not just listening to history tonight, you're drifting through it. So go ahead, settle deeper into your pillow. Let your breath slow, your thoughts float. There's no rush, no need to stay awake for everything. Just listen and let your mind wander where it will. Shall we begin? You'll hear of self-mending stone glass that glows like magic and streets that once smelled of warm spiced wine. You'll learn how the Romans quietly mastered wonders we've only recently begun to understand. And if you slip into sleep before the end, that's perfectly all right. This is your night, your peace, your gentle journey. If nights like these help you unwind, subscribe and I'll be here whenever you need me, with a quiet voice and a curious heart. Now, let's begin. Long before modern science, the Romans were building with a quiet miracle. They mixed volcanic ash called pozzolana with quicklime and seawater, and something extraordinary happened. Tiny mineral crystals, almost like living threads, would slowly grow inside the concrete when cracks appeared. Over months, years, even decades, these delicate filaments would weave themselves across tiny fractures, sealing them shut. It wasn't magic, but it might as well have been. That's why the dome of the Pantheon still curves against the sky, and why the piers of ancient harbors still stand, kissed by salt and time. Even now, scientists study this lost formula, hoping to learn from a wisdom that slept for centuries. Deep within a museum in London, a single cup rests under soft light, waiting. Known as the Lycurgus Cup, it was crafted in the 4th century, delicate, cage-like glass wrapped in myth. But its true wonder lies in something unseen. Tiny flecks smaller than dust of gold and silver were somehow mixed into the glass by hands that didn't know what they'd achieved. When light shines from the front, the cup glows cool jade like a forest pool at dawn. But light from behind transforms it. It pulses a deep warm red like embers breathing in the dark. 1,000 years before we understood nanoparticles, someone, somewhere made light dance. And about those vomitoriums, let's clear the air. No feasting, no excess. The word comes from vomere, to pour forth, like water from a spring. These were not rooms for indulgence, but elegant exits, wide corridors beneath the stands of amphitheaters. Imagine tens of thousands of people, rising after a day of games, flowing smoothly through stone arches like a river finding its course. It was engineering for peace, for grace, for going home together. A gentle release not of food but of people. A whisper of order in a vast humming crowd. On the streets of ancient Pompeii, the night air once carried warmth and spice. Not from homes, but from thermopolia, curved, painted counters built right into the sidewalks. Like little lanterns of comfort, each embedded with clay jars, dolia sunk into the masonry. Inside, meals simmered lentils, honeyed figs, warm goat cheese, wine spiced with cloves and cinnamon. A worker returning late, a mother with tired eyes, anyone could stop, trade a coin, and taste something nourishing. These were the quiet hearts of cities where warmth was always within reach. And then there was silphium. A plant, golden flowered, soft-leaved, said to smell like sunshine and earth after rain. It grew only on a narrow coast in North Africa, wild and unwilling to be tamed. Yet the Romans loved it, used it in food, medicine, perfume, even as a symbol of care. It appeared on their coins, a tribute to something precious. But they loved it too well. Harvested beyond return, it faded then vanished. By the 1st century, it was gone. No seeds left, no roots. Only stories remain, and the quiet lesson of a flower that gave too much. Long before the soft glow of modern city lights painted the night sky, Rome rose in quiet layers toward the stars. Tall buildings called insulae stood close together, like ancient stone trees reaching 7 stories high. Each one hummed with life, families cooking, children laughing, merchants calling from lower windows. Over 40,000 of these homes crowded the city by the 4th century, forming a gentle symphony of footsteps and conversation above cobblestone streets. Imagine standing in a quiet alley at dusk, hearing the distant echo of a lyre from an upper balcony. The flicker of oil lamps behind shuttered windows. A city alive, not in noise, but in the tender rhythm of layered lives. And when winter winds whispered through those narrow lanes, warmth still found its way inside. Roman engineers had devised a quiet miracle beneath the floors called the hypocaust. Clay pillars held up the stone, creating a hidden space below, like a secret chamber beneath the home. From a furnace tucked away, warm air would rise, drifting slowly through that empty space. Gentle heat seeped upward, warming bathhouses and homes alike with a steady, soothing breath. No loud pipes, no sudden bursts, just a soft embrace of warmth like sunlight remembered. Beneath the modern city, even deeper silence holds another wonder, a river that doesn't flow above ground, but beneath it Aqua Virgo, the virgin water. Built in 19 BCE by Agrippa, it has traveled quietly for over 2,000 years. Hidden beneath streets and gardens, it carries cool, clear water from distant hills. And still to this day, it feeds the Trevi fountain, where coins glint and water dances in the moonlight. An ancient pulse, unseen, yet giving life to the city's most famous fountain. Above ground, one building reaches higher than all others in quiet dignity, the Pantheon. Its dome, made entirely of concrete, stands unmatched for nearly 2,000 years. At its peak, a single oculus opens to the sky, a perfect circle, like an eye watching time pass. Sunlight slips through, tracing a slow, golden path across the marble floor each day. And when rain falls, it drifts down like a soft memory, then vanishes through hidden drains. A building that breathes with the sky, open to both light and weather. And in the shadow of a volcano, another secret waited centuries to be heard. Buried by ash in a villa near Pompeii, a library of papyrus scrolls slept undisturbed. The same eruption that silenced a town preserved these fragile words in carbon. Now, with gentle X-ray technology, scientists are reading them without unrolling a single page. Voices from 2,000 years ago, philosophers, poets, whisper again, softly, in the modern world. As if time itself had paused, then leaned in to listen. Long ago, beneath the moonlit hills of Italy, the city of Rome cradled a name so secret it was never spoken aloud. Not to enemies. Not even in whispers by the firelight. This hidden word was believed to hold the breath of the city's guardian spirit, a sacred charm whispered only by priests in shadowed temples. Some scholars think it was amor, Roma spelled backward, a quiet palindrome that rolls softly on the tongue. Imagine that, a city protected not by walls alone, but by a reversed echo of its own name, murmured like a lullaby to the gods. And far below the waves, where sunlight dances in golden ribbons over ancient stone, another secret sleeps. Roman concrete, called opus cementitium, does not crumble with time, it heals. Volcanic sand, mixed with seawater, stirs slow alchemy within its core. Tiny crystals grow like underwater moss, gently weaving across cracks, sealing them shut over centuries. It is as if the sea itself has become a caretaker, nurturing these sunken ruins with quiet, mineral breath. In a quiet museum, lit only by a single glass case, rests a cup that holds magic in its curves. The Lycurgus Cup, a delicate vessel forged by hands who understood more than we once believed. They ground gold and silver into dust finer than pollen, then mixed it into glass with the patience of poets. When light flows through one side, it glows emerald green like a forest in morning mist. But when lit from behind, it blazes crimson, a deep warm red, as if lit by candle flame from within. 1,000 years before microscopes, they shaped light with particles too small to see. And high above the city, stretching across valleys like stone rivers frozen in time, the aqueducts flow with silent precision. For 50 miles, they slope just 18 inches per mile, no more. A gradient so gentle, you could barely feel it beneath your fingertips. Yet this imperceptible tilt carried water like a quiet promise, drop by drop, into the heart of Rome. It fed fountains that sang in courtyards, their murmur a constant companion to the night. Once there was a flavor that made emperors sigh and traders sail across storms. Silphium, a wild herb from a narrow coast warmed by African suns. Its sap was golden, its taste rich and earthy, like sunlight pressed into leaves. So beloved it graced silver coins, a symbol of wealth and wonder. But the world wanted more and more, until one day the fields were bare. No seeds, no roots, and now its flavor lives only in stories, a ghost on the edge of memory. Beneath the marble floors of Roman villas, a quiet miracle unfolded. Long before modern radiators hummed to life, warm air traveled unseen. A hidden network of tunnels and chambers cradled gentle heat from a softly burning fire below. This was the hypocaust, an ancient breath of warmth rising through hollow spaces beneath the stone. The floors, cool to the touch at first glance, would gradually warm like sunlight held in memory. Walls, too, carried this warmth within them, a silent embrace through winter's hush. Imagine standing barefoot on those stones, feeling the earth's own warmth return to you, slow, steady, safe. And just beyond the grand homes along quiet cobblestone lanes, life glowed in small circles of light. Thermopolia, tiny kitchens of the night, stood like lanterns along the darkened streets. Their counters, carved from soft stone, held round jars sunk deep into the surface, like eyes watching the evening pass. Inside, stews simmered in quiet warmth, lentils steeped in salt and herb, and wine spiced with cinnamon and myrrh. A hand would reach out, pass a bowl, and for a moment two strangers shared the same warmth. These were the quiet cafes of antiquity where hunger met kindness, one bowl at a time. Now picture a space so perfectly shaped it feels like a dream remembered. The Pantheon, not just a temple but a sphere of silence and sky. Inside, the dome curves with such harmony that a great ball of air could fit touching floor and ceiling at once. And above, the oculus, open to the heavens, lets in only one small circle of light. At night, moonlight drifts down like a sigh, touching the floor, then vanishing. Even rain, if it falls, enters slowly, as though invited, a single silver thread from cloud to stone. Time, too, moved differently then. Without the sun, how could one know the hour? They turned instead to water, to the quiet drip of a clepsydra, a clock that measured time in drops. Each falling bead of water, a whisper of moments passing, soft as breath on glass. No ticking, no chimes, just the slow gathering of stillness in a lower vessel. In that gentle flow, Romans found their rhythm as night folded into night. Deep beneath the ash and Herculaneum's buried hush, a library waits. The villa of the papyri, sealed by time, holds scrolls blackened, curled like sleeping ferns. For nearly 20 centuries, they've rested, their words folded inward, unread, but not lost. Now, with light that does not burn, with voices that do not disturb, scholars listen. Using delicate eyes of modern light, they peer between layers, word by word, thought by thought. Philosophy, poetry, dreams in carbon and papyrus, waking ever so gently. Hey, still here? That's all right, I'm still here too. We can keep going, if you'd like, or just rest together in the quiet. If you're enjoying this, a like helps other night owls find their way here too. The Romans knew the quiet comfort of warmth beneath their feet. They built a hidden world below their homes. Tiny brick pillars held up vast marble floors, and beneath them a gentle breath of heat would rise. A wood fire, tended low, sent its warmth crawling through the dark spaces, warming the stones, warming the air, warming the body without a sound. In bathhouses, in villas, in quiet rooms at dusk. The heat lingered soft, even constant, like sunlight remembered through stone. No sudden bursts, no crackling flames, just a steady, soothing presence. A quiet embrace from the earth itself, and far beyond the homes, water moved, not fast, not loud, but with quiet certainty. From mountain springs it began its long, slow journey, over stone arches, across valleys, through the hush of open fields. The aqueducts leaned ever so slightly toward the city, just a few inches down for every mile traveled. Water followed the gentle pull of the world, dripping, flowing, whispering over smooth stone, until it arrived, spilling softly into fountains, where leaves drank from the rim and children dipped their fingers at dawn, and in hidden courtyards vines curled around stone basins, and water fell in silver threads into gardens asleep with scent. Even their concrete held a secret, not loud, not proud, but patient, from the ash of ancient volcanoes near a quiet bay. They mixed lime seawater and time. The stone grew stronger as the years passed. Tiny cracks would close, as if breathing in and healing, like skin over a slow-mending wound. And so the Pantheon stands, its dome open to the stars, a single oculus watching the moon drift through centuries. No rust, no rot, just quiet endurance, held by chemistry, by ash, by sea, by time. When night fell and the stars blinked awake, they measured time not by fire but by falling water. Clepsydrae, tall clay towers standing like sentinels in dark halls. A drop, then silence, another drop, each one marking an invisible hour. The sound was soft like a heartbeat heard through walls. In the stillness of a home, it was all one needed to know. That time passed gently, evenly. That midnight had come and would go, and morning would arrive not with a shout but with light, and when hunger stirred they went to small places, where lanterns glowed low and smoke curled like breath in the air. Thermopolia built into the bones of the city, counters painted with faded gods and vines and birds. Terracotta jars held stews warmed over coals. The smell of lentils, honey, coriander rising like a lullaby. People came, tired, quiet, smiling without speaking. A bowl passed hand to hand. Voices hummed low like bees in a hive. And for a while the world was small, warm, and the night held them gently. At the heart of grand Roman homes, hidden behind marble halls and echoing corridors, lies a quiet courtyard called the peristyle. Open to the sky, it breathes in the stillness of the afternoon. Colonnades arch around it, painted in soft blues and faded ochres, their shadows long and slow. Here, rosemary whispers in the breeze, myrtle blooms in quiet corners, and roses climb in silence. A fountain rests at the center, its marble worn smooth by centuries of gentle droplets. Water falls softly into a shallow pool, and the world beyond fades. No voices from the marketplace, no footsteps from the street. Only the hush of leaves, the scent of earth, the peace of a garden untouched by time. This was not just a courtyard, it was a breath held between walls. A place where thoughts could drift like petals on still water. And in that stillness, one could remember how to be quiet. Far away, in a small room lit by candlelight, a glassmaker shapes something strange, a cup that holds more than wine. The Lycurgus Cup, fragile and ancient, sits in shadow, its surface a deep forest green. But when a flame is lit within, it changes. The glass blooms into a warm, glowing red like a rose unfurling at dawn. Tiny particles of gold and silver, too small to see, dance beneath the surface, alive with light. Centuries ago, no one knew the word nanotechnology, yet they held its magic in their hands. The cup shifts, breathes, changes with the light, as if it dreams in colors we cannot name. It sits silently now in a quiet case, but once, it held fire in its soul. In a study lit by twilight, a hand lifts a wooden tablet, smooth and dark. This is a tabula, a quiet companion for thoughts. Its face, coated in beeswax, glows faintly in the low light. A stylus presses gently, letters form, words appear, a message to a friend, a poem, a memory. And when the moment passes, a thumb sweeps across the wax. The words vanish, not erased in anger, but released like breath into cold air. Thoughts come and go like tides, and the wax remembers nothing except the warmth of the touch. Now, night falls fully over the empire, and from every home, from every alley, a small light appears, then another and another. Millions of oil lamps, made of clay, glow like fireflies in the dark. Olive oil fills their wells, flax wicks burn low and steady. Their light does not shout, it hums. A soft gold spills across mosaic floors, licks the edges of painted walls, guides a child to bed, a scholar to his books, a lover to the door. No brightness, no glare, only warmth, only presence, and in that gentle glow, the city dreams. Far out on the sea, where the water is black and endless, a ship moves beneath the stars. No lanterns pierce the dark, no towers mark the shore. Instead, the sailors watch the sky. The constellations turn, slow, patient, like clockwork written in light. And always there, Polaris, the North Star, fixed, calm, a silent promise above the waves. They sail by its wordless voice, trusting the ancient dance of stars, and the sea, so vast, so deep, carries them forward on a path written in the heavens. The world was darker then, but never empty, and in that darkness, there was room for wonder, for quiet, for light, that knew how to breathe, long ago in the quiet glow of candlelight. Roman glassmakers shaped molten beauty with patient hands. They did not know the word nanotechnology, but they understood its magic. Tiny particles of gold and silver were stirred into the molten glass, so small they could not be seen. And so the Lycurgus Cup was born, a quiet miracle in emerald green. In daylight it rests soft and still, but when a flame is lit within, a transformation unfolds. The cup begins to breathe a deep, glowing magenta, like dusk settling over a sleeping garden. Imagine walking beneath a silver moon, on a road worn smooth by centuries of quiet footsteps. Pale stones set gently into the path, catch the moon's breath and shimmer. These are the crepidines like whispers from the earth guiding the way. No lanterns, no fire, just the quiet gleam of stone. A traveler moves slowly, peacefully, following the trail of gentle light home. Beneath Roman floors, a hidden warmth stirs. The hypocaust, a breath of quiet fire, flows beneath tiles through hidden spaces. A furnace hums low like a lullaby, sending warmth upward, slow and even. In winter, the stone grows kind. Walls hold heat like a folded blanket. Bathers rest in steam and stillness, wrapped in the quiet comfort of ancient care. Summer sun beats gently on marble courtyards, and in cool mountain shadows snow lingers. Messengers climb careful and slow, carrying baskets lined with wool and silence. They return with frozen secrets, pure and untouched from high places, mixed with honey fruit and the quiet crunch of nuts. A delicate chill blooms on the tongue, a taste of clouds, sweet, soft, fleeting, like eating a whisper of winter. And high above in the heart of the Pantheon, the sky looks in. The oculus, a wide eye open to clouds, lets sunlight drift down like a slow breath. Rain falls gently through the dome, kissing the marble floor then slipping away. 22 quiet holes hidden in pattern swallow the water without sound. The temple stays peaceful dry while the sky keeps singing. And the world turns softly, beneath a roof that is not quite a roof, but a door to the stars. The great Roman aqueducts stretched across the land like quiet rivers in stone. They did not only carry water, they carried peace. Day after night, the gentle flow of streams hummed through the city, soft and steady. Fountains whispered in every neighborhood, their murmurs weaving through the warm air like lullabies. Over 200 million gallons flowed each day, enough to fill the silence with comfort. And where water flowed, beauty bloomed. The Romans loved the quiet scent of roses, soft, sweet, familiar. In places like Campania, gardens unfolded in waves of pink and gold. At evening gatherings, petals fell like slow rain from the ceiling's hidden edges. A delicate blanket of flowers settled on the floor, scent rising like a sigh. Far below the surface of time, another kind of beauty waited. In a seaside town, wrapped in ash and hush, the villa of the papyri slept. Its scrolls, tightly curled, held words from a world long gone. Now gentle light passes over them, no touch, no harm, only awakening. Thoughts of philosophers rise once more, like mist on still water. On a boat-shaped island in the Tiber's flow, healing once drifted on the breeze. The temple of Aesculapius stood in quiet invitation. Those who came softly, seeking rest for their weary minds. They would lie down in the dim corridors, wrapped in stillness. And in their dreams, perhaps, a god would speak in whispers. At the center of every home, there was a pause, a breath. The peristyle garden, open to the sky, held roses, ivy, cypress tall and still. A shallow pool rested in the middle, mirroring clouds as they wandered west. Evening light would fade into soft gold, then blue, then nothing. And the world outside simply drifted away. Beneath the cobblestone streets of modern Rome, a quiet river still flows. It is not made of water from the sky, but from ancient hands and careful stone. The Aqua Virgo has carried water gently downhill for over 2,000 years. No pumps. No engines. Only the soft pull of gravity. It moves in silence, unseen, beneath our feet, and arrives, at last, at the Trevi fountain,
where silver water spills into the basin, just as it did in the time of Agrippa. Imagine that, a gift from the past, still giving, and once the Romans shaped light with glass, not with fire, nor with paint, but with something smaller than dust. The Lycurgus Cup, a fragile vessel from the 4th century, holds secrets in its curves. When light passes through, something stirs within the glass. Tiny specks of gold and silver wake slowly. The cup breathes, color shifting from pale green to a deep glowing red, like a sunset held in the palm of your hand. No one knows exactly how they did it, only that they trusted the unseen. When winter winds curled through the hills, the Romans did not shiver. They built warmth into the bones of their homes. Beneath the floors, hollow chambers waited. Servants lit small fires outside, their flames quiet and steady. Warm air would drift through hidden tunnels, rising through the tiles like a slow breath. The mosaics above stayed warm,
and the rooms above felt like sunlight remembered. At the center of their world stood the Forum of Trajan, a place of stillness, of thought. 2 libraries faced each other, one holding Latin scrolls, the other Greek. Between them, a column climbed into the sky, its surface carved with stories in marble, wound upward like a slow river of memory. Readers could walk the balconies and let their eyes follow the carvings as they read, knowledge held in ink and stone, and silence. And every morning the air would fill with a familiar comfort, the scent of bread warm and golden. In communal ovens, bakers shaped round loaves, 8 wedges like the sun. Panis quadratus stamped with a maker's name, a mark of care, of pride. When the ash fell on Pompeii, it buried these loaves but did not erase them. They remained sealed in time, beneath layers of quiet, the shape of bread and the hand that made it, still remembered.
The dome of the Pantheon rises like a soft breath held in stone. 27 feet wide, the oculus opens to the sky. No glass, no covering, just the endless blue or the quiet dark of night. And as the sun climbs, a single beam slips through. It glides across the marble, slow as a hand brushing silk, a golden line that moves with the turning world. No clock needed, just light and time, dancing together. Inside, the air is still warm, heavy with centuries of quiet thoughts. You can almost feel the stillness, the hush of so many who once sat beneath it, just breathing, watching, being. And the stone itself, it remembers. Roman concrete was not like ours. They mixed limestone with ash from a distant shore, pozzolana carried from the hills near Naples. When seawater touched it, something gentle began, a quiet alchemy, unseen, unhurried. Minerals bloomed within the cracks, like roots finding their way. Slowly, softly, the stone healed itself. Harbors, piers, bridges, still standing, still holding. After 2,000 years, still whispering. We are here. Now imagine a home hidden behind a heavy door. Inside, a courtyard opens to the sky, a peristyle ringed with slender columns. Water trickles from a small fountain, just a breath of sound. Roses climb the walls, their scent floating in the evening air. Rosemary brushes against bare feet as someone walks by. No rush, no noise from the streets beyond, only the soft sigh of leaves, the distant call of a bird settling for sleep. A family lingers here, wrapped in the day's last warmth. Peace not earned, but simply lived, and far beyond the city, under moonlight, a road stretches straight as a thought. The Via Appia paved with time, every 1,000 paces a stone rises, a miliarium carved with quiet pride, marking the way not with noise but with presence. Travelers see it in the silver light and feel a whisper of relief. You are still on the path, you are not lost. One step, then another, guided by stone sentinels. Sleep walking beside the awake, and in a quiet room a newborn stirs. Tiny fingers curl, breath soft as dust on marble. Around their neck a bulla rests, smooth, warm, gold or soft leather, shaped like a gentle tear. Inside, a hidden token, a prayer made small. A gift from the gods, a guardian without form. It will stay with them until the edge of childhood fades. But even then, the feeling remains, that someone or something once watched over their sleep. Still here? That's all right, you're exactly where you need to be. Let the past cradle you like a courtyard bathed in moonlight. I'm still speaking, but you don't have to listen. Just float, just breathe. The stones remember, so you don't have to. Imagine a floor made of countless tiny stones, each one placed by hand. Millions of little tesserae, carefully fitted together by Roman artisans. They worked slowly, with breath held, fingers steady year after year. Some mosaics took longer than a lifetime to finish. They told stories of gods, of trees, of quiet rivers and singing birds, and now they sleep beneath the soil. Hidden, still, waiting in silence, their colors softened but not forgotten. Like dreams buried deep in the earth they remain, beautiful, still dreaming. Pause. Now picture a glass jar forgotten in the dark, buried for centuries, touched only by time and soil. The air did not reach it, but chemical whispers did. Slowly, gently, the surface began to change. A soft glow emerged like morning light on water, hues of blue, green, gold floating just beneath the skin of the glass. Not painted, not meant, but born from stillness and long, quiet decay. A quiet miracle made by time itself. Pause. In winter, the rich would not shiver. Beneath their feet, warmth moved like a slow breath. A fire burned low in a hidden chamber. Its heat slipped through hollow spaces beneath the floor. Air drifted warm and silent, rising through the walls. Like a whisper from the earth, it wrapped the rooms in calm. No sudden blasts, no roaring flames. Just a steady, gentle glow from below. The house itself breathing warmth. Pause. And then the Pantheon. A dome of stone shaped like the sky. No beams, no supports, just pure, quiet balance. At its peak, a single open eye, the oculus, a circle of sky watching the world below. Sunlight slips in a slow finger of gold tracing the walls. Rain falls in softly like a memory. It pools, then slips away, guided by a slope so slight you almost don't notice. The temple welcomes the sky as a guest,
and keeps its secrets in silence. Pause. At the center of the home, a garden.
Water dripped one drop at a time into a still pool. This was otium. Not work, not noise, but stillness on purpose. A place to sit, to listen, to be, where time didn't rush but floated, like a leaf on a breeze turning slowly in the sun. And everything was enough. Imagine the soft touch of an ancient scroll, unrolling slowly beneath gentle fingers, made from delicate papyrus, carried from faraway Egypt, its surface smooth, faintly warm from the sun, and covered in quiet words from forgotten times. In a stone building carved with graceful columns, the Library of Celsus stood, its walls sheltering nearly 12,000 scrolls, each one tucked into a quiet niche, like secrets held in stone arms. Double walls, thick and silent, kept the air inside soft and still, protecting the fragile texts from damp, from heat, from time itself, so knowledge could rest without fading. And beyond the library, water moved, not in haste, but in a slow, steady breath, flowing down from distant mountain springs, through stone channels raised on arches, crossing valleys and fields, 50 miles or more, guided only by the gentle pull of the earth, trusting in the quietest slope. The water arrived softly, spilling into marble fountains and whispering into deep, cool reservoirs, its voice a constant hum, a lullaby beneath the sky, a song the city could fall asleep to. And from lands even farther away, across deserts and mountains, a quiet path of trade wove through time, carrying silk, fabric so fine it seemed to glow, like moonlight caught in threads, brought from China to Rome, worn by nobles who did not know how such beauty could be made, who believed it grew on trees touched by mystery, their leaves soft as dreams. And when the day softened and the light turned gold, people went to the baths, to the tepidarium, a room domed like the sky, where warmth lingered, and the air was thick with lavender, and the scent of crushed rosemary. Their attendants moved like shadows, with bronze strigils, warm oil on skin, swept gently, in slow arcs, melting away the weight of hours, until the body let go and the mind drifted. And beyond the city, a road still rests, the Appian Way, built with stones pulled from the earth, volcanic, heavy, fitted together like a quiet promise, worn now by time. Moss now cushions the edges. Wildflowers bow between the cracks, and tall umbrella pines rise, their leaves whispering in the breeze, guarding the memory of footsteps, of carts, of voices long gone, a path that once carried the world, now cradled by peace, resting. As the years float by, the ancient aqueducts of Rome carried water like whispers through stone. They stretched across the countryside, slow, quiet, patient, guided by gentle slopes carved in stone. The Aqua Marcia brought the coldest, purest water, crisp as mountain air, flowing through tunnels and arches beneath open skies. It moved without rush, without sound, feeding deep cisterns and fountains where citizens once cupped their hands beneath cool, steady streams. A soft gift from the hills arriving every day, every night, without end. And within the city's stone embrace there were gardens, hushed places hidden behind high walls where trees grew tall and shadows lingered. The Horti, they were called, places like the gardens of Maecenas, where fountains murmured over marble edges and paths curled beneath cypress boughs. Statues stood like quiet guests half hidden in green light, their stone faces softened by time and dappled sun. Here, one could walk, breathe, forget the weight of the city just beyond the wall. In quiet workshops, glassmakers shaped light with their hands. They drew colors from fire, deep blues, soft golds, hints of green like morning leaves, and bound them into glass. With the millefiori method, they built tiny flowers of molten color, layer by layer, then sliced them like bread, revealing blooming patterns in every cross-section. The finished cups and bowls caught lamplight in the evening, glowing gently on tables, holding wine or water or simply the warmth of a room. Delicate, but meant to be touched, to be seen, to be admired in silence. Beneath the bathhouses, warmth rose like a slow breath from the earth. The hypocaust, a quiet system of fire and air, sent heat drifting upward through hollow tiles beneath the floors and behind the walls. Stoked by careful hands, the flames never roared, only glowed, sending waves of comfort through the stone. And above, bathers lingered in pools, their feet warm beneath still water, their skin touched by radiant heat from all around. A sanctuary of warmth where time softened and muscles let go, and thoughts drifted like steam. And far beyond the city gates, the Appian Way unrolled beneath the stars. Paved with great blocks of basalt fitted so closely one could slide a leaf between them,
It caught the moonlight like a silver thread. Few walked it by day when sun beat down on black stone, but at night it belonged to messengers, merchants, dreamers on the move. Horse hooves tapped a gentle rhythm, steady, unhurried, echoing softly between rows of umbrella pines that bowed like silent watchers. The road stretched on quiet, sure, carrying stories forward, one step at a time beneath the vast, sleeping sky. The great libraries of Rome stood like quiet dreams made stone. Among tall columns and arched ceilings, wisdom slept in scrolls of papyrus. Scholars entered softly, unrolling words from the past with careful hands. And though they read in silence to our eyes, their lips still shaped each phrase.
A hush of voices, like wind over water, floated through the halls. A gentle hum rising and falling as minds wandered through poetry and law. No one rushed, no one spoke too loud. Time itself slowed beneath the vaulted roof. And in that soft chorus of spoken thought, the world outside faded away, above, far above, in the heart of the Pantheon's dome. A circle of sky opened like an eye to the heavens. 27 feet wide, it framed the clouds, the stars, the slow sweep of daylight. A single beam of sun would slip inside, gliding across cool marble. Hour by hour, it wandered like a hand tracing the walls in silence. When rain came, it drifted down like mist, not in drops but in whispers. The floor, nearly flat, sloped just enough to welcome the water home. Tiny drains, hidden like secrets, carried it gently away. And the temple remained peaceful, open, connected to the breath of the sky. At night, when shadows stretched and the sun could no longer tell the time, the Romans listened not to the stars but to the soft drip of water. Clepsydrae stone vessels shaped like quiet prayers. Water passed from one to the next, drop by drop, a rhythm older than clocks. Each fall was a breath, each pause a heartbeat. In the stillness of the sleeping city, this was the only sound awake, a soft, constant companion to the dreams of thousands. Time did not march, it floated, carried on the flow of liquid silver. When the sun began to rest, so too did the people. The cena, the evening meal, was no simple act of eating. It was a slow unwinding, a ritual of warmth and company. Men and women reclined on soft couches, bodies supported, minds relaxed. Low tables held dishes of olives, figs bread dipped in oil. Lamps flickered, small golden flames in quiet pools of light. Poetry was spoken, not recited, but shared like a secret. Voices curled through the air, warm, unhurried. And the world beyond the meal did not matter, only this, only now. At the center of the city, near the old hearth of Rome, a small round temple held a fire that never slept. The temple of Vesta, where 6 priestesses moved like shadows at dawn. They fed the flame with quiet hands, adding wood as gently as a lullaby. For over 1,000 years the coals glowed without pause. Not bright, not fierce, but steady, a soft red warmth in the dark. It was not worship alone, it was presence, a promise. The fire was the city's breath, its slow, unwavering heart, and as long as it burned, Rome dreamed on, safe and whole. The city of Rome held a secret name whispered only by priests, a name too sacred to speak, too powerful to share. Some say it was Amor. Rome reversed, a quiet echo of love. Others believe it was Flora, soft as a breath of spring. Now lost like smoke from an ancient hearth, vanished into silence, and in the hush of a Roman workshop, glassmakers shaped more than beauty. They stirred gold and silver so fine, they danced like dust. In the heart of the Lycurgus Cup, these tiny particles sleep. In shadow it rests, a deep forest green, but lift it to the light and it glows a gentle ruby, a whisper of dawn in glass. Above, in the Pantheon's dome, the sky watches back. The oculus opens like an eye to the sun. On the longest day, light slips in a perfect golden coin. It traces the floor, slow, steady. A quiet reminder that all things move in rhythm. The heavens, the earth, the breath in your chest. Below, beneath marble and mosaic, warmth rises. From hidden chambers, air drifts, soft and slow. The hypocaust breathes warmth through the bones of the villa. Tiles hold the memory of fire. Bare feet find comfort in stone that hums with heat, like sunlight stored in stone. And far beyond the hills, the aqueducts walk. Stone legs carrying clear water mile after mile. No force, no rush, just a gentle slope, a patient journey. Water sings in fountains, a soft, constant lullaby. 300 million gallons each day, flowing like time itself. Still, deep, warm, hush. Warm ocean currents drift through ancient stone, soft, porous, and strong. Beneath the waves, Roman harbors rest, held by concrete that breathes with the sea. Pozzolana ash, mixed with lime and salt water, slowly wakes beneath tides. Tiny crystals grow, thread through cracks, weaving new stone. Each wave a quiet hand, smoothing, strengthening, still.
Time does not weaken it, time feeds it. Deep below, where light fades, the oldest piers sleep and grow stronger. A small island rises in the Tiber's gentle flow. Willow branches dip into still water. There, the temple of Aesculapius waits wrapped in quiet. Sick travelers come drawn by the promise of healing dreams. They lie on soft pallets in cool, dim halls, breathing in the scent of herbs and damp stone. Eyes close, breath slows. Visions come gently like ripples on water.
Priests sit nearby, listening in the dark, whispering meanings from the silence. Dreams, not medicine, the deepest cure. Step into marble halls, cool air, the scent of papyrus and cedar wood. The Bibliotheca Ulpia glows in soft daylight. Scrolls rest in quiet cubbies held like secrets. No silence here, only a hush of voices. Scholars lean over texts, lips moving, words hummed in low tones, a soft chorus. Like bees in a distant garden, the sound wraps around you warm and steady. Reading not with eyes, but with voice, with breath. Thoughts drift line by line through ancient wisdom. Evening light fades over marble courtyards. Laughter floats, soft music curls through the air. Guests recline on cushions, wine in hand. Above, a ceiling panel parts, slow, silent. Rose petals fall light as breath. They drift down, a soft rain, scent rising like mist. Petals land on skin, on wine cups, on tiled floors, the air thick with sweetness. A garden of dreams built under stone roofs. Night unfolds in color and perfume. At the forum's heart, a circle of firelight glows. The temple of Vesta small still. Inside, the sacred flame breathes low constant, tended by women in white hands, gentle eyes calm. For 1,000 years the fire has not slept. No storm, no war could break its quiet light. It flickers warm golden, a heartbeat in stone. The city rests knowing it burns, a quiet promise burning through time. Peace, not power, held in a flame, soft, deep, unbroken, still. The air in the great bathhouses warm, thick with the scent of roses. Crushed petals, almond, lavender oil on skin, slow, quiet hands. Water rises gently, room to room, warmth spreading deep. A place to drift, to soften, to let go. Beneath the floors, far below the mosaics, warmth begins. A low fire breathes deep in the stone, sending its breath through pillars of clay. Terracotta bones carrying heat upward, a home held in warmth. Like a blanket woven from air soft, even endless Roman concrete, ancient still standing. Volcanic ash in the mix, a quiet magic in the minerals. When time makes a crack, rain comes slow kind. It seeps in, wakes the ash, and the stone seals itself. A wound closes without a sound. Far below the earth, in the quiet dark scrolls sleep. 1800 curled in the hush of Herculaneum. Volcanic dust wrapped them, kept them safe. Now light gentle, unseen brushes each page. Invisible eyes read what no one has touched in centuries. Words wake, softly one by one. In the heart of a Roman home, a garden breathes. Open to the sky, still hushed. Marble fountain, a thin song of water, falling like breath. Rosemary, violets, ivy on the wall. The air tastes green, cool, alive. A world within a world where the mind can rest. Where time slows and the soul settles. The sun slips below the city's edge. Warm stone holding the day's last breath. Tiny flames flicker to life. Lucerne cradled in niches, on windowsills, in quiet hands. Olive oil burns slow, golden soft. 1,000 small stars born along shadowed streets. Philosophers walk beneath them, bakers tying aprons, poets humming lines, all moving through the hush, beneath the same ancient sky. And far beyond the lamps, stone paths stretch across the land, roads built by steady hands, mile after mile. The Appian Way rests now, moss curling over its gray slabs, tall pines whispering above. Evening walkers pass in silence, feet brushing over echoes of empire, the past sleeping beneath green moss and starlight. To the north, cold wind beyond the tent flap. Marcus Aurelius writes by lamplight. His pen moves slow, ink catching on parchment, like breath on glass. Time flows, he writes. Peace is in letting go. The night is vast, the stars watch, and the emperor listens to the quiet pulse of the world. Back in Rome, rain begins. Soft drops falling through the open eye of the Pantheon. The oculus gazes upward, a circle of sky framed in ancient concrete. Water drifts down gentle as a sigh, kissing the worn marble below. Drains breathe it in, the floor stays calm, and the rain becomes part of the temple's quiet song. And beneath the streets. Beneath gardens, alleys, dreamers' homes, the Aqua Virgo still sings. Stone arches rise in quiet fields, moss-draped, timeless.
for over 2,000 years. Cool water has moved, always moving, always flowing, a soft, unseen journey, to the fountains of Rome, where water spills, gentle, clear, and never still. Beneath the soil, time breathes softly upon forgotten glass, turning Roman vessels into whispers of light. Layer by layer, minerals weave a quiet dream. Gold, blue, pink, a shimmer born from stillness, from centuries of rest. No hand could craft such gentle fire. Only earth and silence, working slowly. Now, when we hold these shards,
we cradle the glow of deep time. Beneath marble, warmth moves like a slow breath, through pillars of clay, through hidden veins. The hypocaust dreams beneath cold stone, sending up comfort from small, tending fires. Bare feet remember this warmth. Even now in memory, winter cannot touch these floors, because fire and air still walk below. In the hush of home, a garden waits. Shaded, scented, alive with quiet water. Roses nod beneath frescoed skies, where painted birds never fly away. The fountain murmurs the same soft phrase, over and over, like a lullaby. Here time folds into evening light, and the world beyond fades into dust. Above sleeping streets, water walks on stone, a river suspended in arches of time. No force drives it but the slope of earth, the slow lean of gravity, patient and sure. For miles it flows silent, constant, carried by shadows of mountains long unseen. Each drop arrives, as it always has, a gift from slope and spring and sky. The Appian Way unspools into twilight, a ribbon of basalt, worn smooth by centuries. Pines stand like sentinels, swaying, their roots tangled with old footsteps. No march disturbs this peace now, only wind and the hush of coming dark. To walk it is to step into absence, where history breathes but does not speak. And still the arches rise, still the glass holds light, still the garden hums with water, and the road remembers every step. Time does not erase, it softens, it covers, it transforms. And in the quiet, beauty lingers, long after all voices fade. Silence is their air, and ours. Within the library of Celsus, where silence was sacred, soft light once slipped between columns, and fingers brushed papyrus older than memory words, sleeping in stone arms, guarded by air so still, even time seemed to pause. Beneath Mediterranean skies, ancient olive trees still breathe, their bark etched with centuries of sun and rain. Roots cradling stories no one speaks aloud, fruit ripening gently, as they did for children of Rome. In quiet homes, small hands once held clay birds and wooden lambs, a child's whisper lost now, but not the warmth of a mother's song, lullabies humming through the dark, just as they do tonight. Along the coast, lighthouses stood like dreams carved in stone, flames flickering high above the waves, guiding sailors through long quiet nights, a distant glow, a promise kept across water and time. Snow falls through the Pantheon's open eye, slow, weightless spirals, touching down on marble worn smooth by centuries of quiet footsteps, the sky meeting the earth inside a temple that still dreams. And with that, I think that's enough for tonight. Your mind has wandered through quiet halls and stood beneath ancient stars. If this helped you drift off, leave a like, a gentle thank you to the quiet subscribe, and I'll be here always when you need a voice to walk you home. Good night, sleep well, and remember, Rome's secrets don't shout, they wait in stillness and shadows and snow. Rest now, everything is exactly as it should be.